cocoa bombs that are going around. I have this almond bark that I get at Walmart. It's a great value brand, and this is the best thing that I find for me that works. It melts down to the perfect consistency, so I like to use this, and it has a really good flavor, so it doesn't have a different flavor that will alter the flavor of the hot cocoa. And then I also have this cupcake silicone mold that I use so that when I take my hot cocoa bombs out of this that I use, I can sit them in there. So I got these at Hobby Lobby. They're mostly to use for bath bombs. And I had ordered a silicone mold on Amazon. It got lost in the mail. So I tried these out because I saw some people using these. And they worked for me, so I like them. So these are the ones I'm using. This is a 70 millimeter and this is an 80 millimeter, I believe. And it depends on whatever size you want to use. They both fit perfectly in these, but these fit more perfectly in the packaging that I use. So I'm going to use this size today. This spatula, I use it so that when I'm taking it off the mold, I can scrape off any excess chocolate. And then a rubber spatula to mix our chocolate. I also have some candy canes to put peppermint if you want to add a peppermint flavor to your hot cocoa. I use this hot cocoa from a bag. You can use this. It's easy to just tear it open and throw it in there, perfect measurements. Or you can use this hot cocoa from Walmart that I buy as well. And this one you do have to do your measurements. So just read the instructions. I have some Wilton brand sprinkles just to decorate on top of our cocoa bombs. And then I also have these that I buy from Dollar Tree. They're just it's glass with the plastic top. So when you melt your chocolate and you're done, you can always save it. Nothing goes to waste. As you can see here, here's one I've already started using. And then what I'm going to start by doing is melting our chocolate in 30-second intervals. So I'm going to go ahead and do that and come right back. Here I've already done 2 intervals of 30 seconds, and here is the consistency of the chocolate. There's still some pieces that are not fully melted, but the cup is pretty hot, so I want to avoid putting it back in the microwave until it cools down a little bit, because then I have the chance of overheating my chocolate and burning it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and mix it, because some of it is melted and warm, so it will melt the rest of the chocolate itself just by mixing it around. So I'm going to go ahead and do that here and see how much I can get melted without having to put it back in the microwave. And meanwhile, the glass will cool down. So as you can see, there's still a clump of chocolate in there that hasn't melted fully, but my cup is not hot anymore. So I'm gonna go ahead and pop it in the microwave for another 30 seconds. And I think that should be enough. I'm gonna clean off the spatula. Okay guys, so I went ahead and put it in for another 30 seconds. And now it's the perfect consistency. The glass is still a bit warm, so just be careful with that. But now everything is fully melted and it's like the perfect consistency, and I didn't have to add anything to it. No shortening, no oil, nothing. That's why I love the almond bark. So once that's all mixed through, just to make sure everything's fully melted, we are going to grab our mold. So remember, I'm using this mold, which is a 70 millimeter mold. And what I do is I go ahead and with the spatula just add in a little bit of chocolate. And then I start moving it around just so that it can coat. And I do this on top of the cup so that any little drops that fall out, they fall back into that. And you can see there's some that need some more, so then I put some more in there. Sometimes I even do that just to make sure it gets fully coated on the edge. And then see, once it's fully coated, then I tap it around like this just to get all the excess chocolate out. And you'll have your perfect bomb. It'll look like this. Then I set it aside onto my cupcake mold like this. And then I'm going to go ahead and do all the ones that I have. And then after that, we'll pop them in the freezer to set up. So I'll be right back. Sitting in here, so that's going to make it easier to go ahead and put those in the freezer. We're going to put them in there for a couple of minutes just so they can set up. It sets up pretty quickly, and then we'll bring them out and unmold them. Okay, so I went ahead and took them out already. I only put them in there for like about a minute. Just want them to set up. You don't want to leave them in there too long because once they come out, they will crack and you'll hear them. So then you'll have to do another coat. Sometimes they do crack when you're trying to take them out, but I always do just a very thin little coat of chocolate again and put them back in there, and it fixes everything. So once they're out, I like to turn them around and kind of pinch them. And once you pinch it, you can kind of see that it separates from the mold. So I just pinch it around, kind of hit it down, and then before I touch it, let me put on my gloves. So once I pinch it around, kind of tap it down, then I kind of mess with it right here, like kind of touch it and kind of want to slip it out. That doesn't work. I just keep on playing with it for a little bit. Sometimes if you bring them out of the freezer and let them sit for a while, they'll, by themselves, they tend to separate a lot easier. But I'm not giving them that chance today. So as you can see on this one, it cracked around the edges right here. They're a little cracked. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to, because I don't want it to break, I'm going to get a little bit more chocolate onto my spatula, and then I just kind of brush it on there. And then I let it sit aside like that. I'll also get my spatula and I'll just clean off these edges like this, just so that it's easier to release. I go like this, and then I pinch it so I can start separating. As you can see, it starts separating. I'll put my hand in there, try to release it. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Right now I have long nails and this is not making life any easier. Can't like really fit my finger in there. Sometimes I like to put it on a hard surface and tap it and try to pull it out. And I can see this one cracked as well, so I'm gonna go ahead and do another little layer. So it seems like it's cracking, so it might be too thin, so I'm just gonna do a little brush on layer like I did to the first one, to all of them, just to be on the safe side. So I'm just gonna put these back in the freezer for a little bit, just so they can set up and it'd be easier to come out. I don't think I left them in there that long, but I was scared that they would crack, but they still cracked. So we'll just go ahead and put these back in there and be back. Go ahead and take them out. And when you take them out, you can see that they are fully, you can see that they've come apart from the mold. But yeah, it's still a bit kind of hard to push them out. And so I'm gonna go ahead and clean this right here around it with the spatula. Just so I can make it. And then I'm gonna tap it a little bit right here. That tends to help it kind of come out. And then I'll pull at it. Sometimes it's easy and sometimes it's not. It takes some. And sometimes I can hear that it's loose, but it won't come out because it has like these little ridges right here and it gets like stuck on there. So make sure I mess with it. So these are a lot harder. Like I can hear it coming when they come out. So these are a lot harder to work. See now it came apart, and it does have this little piece that's always gets stuck. That's fine because we're gonna melt it down to connect them together, so that's fine. Right there. And then this excess chocolate, I save it, so I'll put it like right here and I'll use it when I melt the chocolate again. So these are a lot harder to kind of work with than the silicone molds. So if you would rather use a silicone mold, I would suggest it because I've seen that it's a lot more easier because you just kind of fold it away. But since this is what we got, we're gonna work with this. So I'm gonna go ahead and unmold all of these, and then we will continue to our next step. Some of them, there's some that still I was having trouble with, so I still have them in the freezer, but we're gonna go ahead and proceed with what we got. So I have this bowl. I heated it up for 30 seconds in the microwave by itself, and it's really warm enough to melt the chocolate. So we're gonna take our first ball and half of the, and I'm gonna try the first one with this bag of hot cocoa, so y'all can see between both of them, measuring them out. And then I have my marshmallows, so I'm gonna go ahead and put it on here, and I'm going to just turn it around and see how it melts. Pick it up, put in my cocoa mix, the whole bag, how easy that is, and then put in my marshmallows. Put in as many marshmallows as you want, or no marshmallows. Then I'm gonna get my other half that's a bit bigger, that goes to the, and roll it around there as well, let it melt. And I'm going to pick it up, put it on top, and let them glue together. Sometimes it's perfect and sometimes it's not. So it seems like my bowl did not get as hot as I wanted it to, so I'm gonna put it in the microwave for a little longer. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this, and we're gonna try with our cocoa and measuring our cocoa. I'm gonna put this down, let that melt down. I'm gonna add in 1 and 2 tablespoons of cocoa. You can add less. Our marshmallows, and we're gonna get another top. Melt that down and put it on top like this. Just kind of rub the edge so that it can And then we're just gonna let that put that to the side so that the chocolate can settle and it can adhere together. So I'm gonna, my hands are kind of dirty, so I'm gonna go ahead and wash my hands and clean up a bit, and so we can finish them off. Okay. So I got my hot plate, nice and warm. I'm gonna try this again. So I'm gonna get my ball. Put in 1 scoop. I'm gonna do a scoop and a half. Put my marshmallows in there, as many as you want, or no marshmallows, doesn't matter. My other one, around, melt it down. Place it on top. This one did crack a little bit, so I did put some more chocolate in it and put it back in the freezer, but we're gonna decorate it so you won't be able to see that. So that's how we got it. You can, I like to get a little bit of the chocolate that's melted on there, and I'll rub it on this just to make sure it seals completely. And then set it aside. I didn't get enough. You can also use your melted chocolate that you have. So we'll have to do that. So I'm gonna get, oops, I have to melt that a little bit. Do 1 scoop, half a scoop. Our marshmallows and our chocolate. And get my other one, melt it down. Melt it down. And place it on top, and line it up, and then I just go around it like this to get it all nice and sealed. Then I set it aside so that they can, so then aside that. So here we have our balls, and over here we have all our other ones that we made. So you gotta put that like this, come like this. So these are all of our chocolate balls. So now we're gonna go ahead and decorate them. So here I have my chocolate. It's kind of cooled down a little bit, but it'll still work because we're gonna drizzle with it. So I'm gonna get my chocolate. What I like to use is I'll get a Ziploc bag and some scissors. So I'll open my Ziploc bag. Let's see here. Then I'll put my chocolate in there. Chocolate in there. Use it as a little piping. So I'll bring my sprinkles, and I'm going to use the candy cane as well. Break my candy cane and take off the wrapper. Put it in the bag and smush it. So I have a little rolling pin. And I'm going to go ahead and move these out of the way. A little piece came flying out. In there. So we have our peppermints and our sprinkles. So this one has a thing you can sprinkle on. This one is open, so I like to put some so I can just pinch and grab. I'm gonna get these. Open this up so it's easier to grab. That right there. Everything arranged. Get my chocolate. I'm gonna clip off tip. And then I like to test it by, perfect. So we're gonna do one by one. So we're gonna start with these, and I'm just gonna go up here and just drizzle my chocolate like that. You can just leave it like that, or you can add on the sprinkles. So I'm gonna be doing 2 and 2. So then I go over here, drizzle on my chocolate, and put on my sprinkles. And then I'll go ahead and do the same with this one. Drizzle on my chocolate. Then I'll get some of my sprinkles here. Just put them on top. Super easy. That. Sprinkle. You can put as much sprinkles as you would like. And this last one is going to be my peppermint one. So I'm going to turn that. Drizzle. And then grab my peppermints. And put them on top right here. It smells delicious. Let this fill. And also arrange them on there. Okay, and then as you can see here, those are the cocoa bombs, all nice and ready. So we're gonna let that sit, so then we can package them. I'm gonna go ahead and kind of pick up my mess that I made, and then we'll come back to show you how to package these. Okay, so now we're gonna package our bombs, our cocoa bombs. So what I have here is, this is a cupcake where you place cupcakes. So this is what I use to package them. I use this shredded paper, any color you would like. And then I use cupcake liners, any type of cupcake liners that you might like, and some ribbon. I also have these little papers. I purchased these little cards off of Etsy, and it just says hot chocolate bomb, and it gives the instructions. And I also placed this in there so that everybody knows what they need to do. It's self-explanatory, but it's just another little touch to it. So what I'm gonna go ahead and do is put my cupcake liners. I usually put, there's for 6, but I usually do 5 only, and I leave this middle part open, and that's where I put my little card. So I'm gonna put my 5 cupcake liners, and then I'm gonna grab my bombs and just place them in there. Look at how easy that is. They go in there perfectly. So it seems like one of them didn't seal properly, but I went ahead and off camera sealed it back together. So now it's perfect. So here we have our cocoa bombs. So I'm gonna go ahead and get some shredded paper and just stick it mostly in the middle, and then I'll spread a little bit of it around the edges of the cocoa bombs, just so that they look nice and pretty. And then I get my little piece of paper with the directions on it, and I place it right there in the middle. I'm gonna go ahead and seal up mine. And this is how it looks. And I'm gonna go ahead and take off my gloves since I'm not gonna be touching the bombs anymore. This way. I'm gonna go ahead and tie this up. Just to make sure everything looks good, placement looks perfect. And so I just get a little piece of string, bring it up, measure about how much I need to make a bow, then I'll cut a piece off. And make sure it's underneath positioned where I need to have it positioned correctly. And I just go ahead and tie my bow. All this is optional, but this is a great way to give them as gifts. Just might remember that on. Where it needs to be. I am not a pro at this, guys. I'm learning. I'm in the process of learning, but I wanted to show you how I make them. And maybe y'all can give it a try. Or if y'all think it's too complicated, y'all can always buy some from me or from somebody that makes them, depending on where you live. So this is the finished product. Isn't that nice to give as a gift? Put it in a gift bag or give them like this. But I hope y'all enjoyed this video. I know we had some ups and downs and some errors and we fixed them together, but I gotta tell you guys, you do not have to use the bath bomb molds that I've been using, but those are the ones I have available at the moment. I've seen the silicone molds being used and they're much more easier, and I do recommend those, but like I told you, mine got lost in the mail, so we tried them with this, but as you can see, they came out perfect. So go ahead, give it a try, and give this video a like. Thank you.